episode of BS Busters. I'm joined by one of the usual suspects. Go ahead, sir. Introduce yourself.
This is Bob Nito. Glad to be here on another one of the one of the these BS busters. Sorry.
Glad to have you, man. Glad to have you. So, um, it's me, Mr. Red Fox, owner and proprietor of BS Busters. Before we go any further, what you been playing?
Uh, so I haven't been playing much of anything. I've just been setting up my arcade machine. I got the Super Mario 64 recompiler running on it again. Working on that yesterday.
That's good.
Uh, yeah, pretty
So,
cool mod. So it's a pretty cool mod. It has a few of the levels look like the ad levels that we saw in the guidebook or on the promotions. That was pretty interesting. That stuff looks pretty cool, especially if you have the ability, if you have a card that does ray tracing. Ray tracing with like older titles or games that aren't, more or less focus heavily more on art style. Probably doesn't use a lot of those games look more interesting in ray tracing than
games that are
something
trying
like
to look
cyber.
realistic.
Yeah, games that are trying to look realistic.
Oh, that's fair. Um, I'm one of those people that like when that ad came out for that, like, oh man, Super Mario 64 recompiled. So they basically reverse engineered the code to make it run on PCs. Cool.
Yeah, natively.
Yeah,
Yeah.
natively. Cool, cool, cool. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And everyone's like, I can finally play HD Super Mario 64. I'm like, do you want to play HD Super Mario 64? Because that game was built to run on CRTs.
Yeah.
Like it's like if you're married to a woman who's not really, really, really conventionally attractive, do you really want glasses to see how ugly she is?
Well, I mean, obviously there's ways around it. They let's say people create mods and textures to update the texture so it doesn't look as bad in HD.
I know. I'm making I'm using hyperbole to make a point. Like people just like if a game is built from the ground up or a game has art style where really pretty graphics aren't going to really make it bad or good or bad, then I'm cool with it. But if it's some shit where it's like I really don't want to know what this is going to look like in ultra HD.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Wind Waker looks amazing in HD. Twilight Princess, not so much.
Yeah, I actually agree with that.
And Twilight Princess is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Legend of Zelda is Twilight Princess. Okay, to me,
Yeah.
Twilight Princess is it's the Ocarina of Time we should have gotten. All right, I know some people are gonna be like, "Oh, what are you talking about?" Twilight Princess is what we should have gotten in Ocarina of Time, but we didn't get because Nintendo couldn't be bothered to actually, make Kid Link enjoyable. Like playing as Kid Link in Ocarina of Time feels like a punishment. It's like, oh god, I gotta play this shitty ass character.
Yeah.
Whereas playing as Wolf Link is like, oh, this is interesting. This is like there's strengths and weaknesses to me being this character. So like I actually have to be aware of shit,
Yeah.
you know. Whereas I don't feel that way playing
You don't feel that playing Ocarina of Time.
no, no. Playing Link, like here's playing Kid Link in Ocarina of Time is so painful that when they made the sequel, where the whole game you play as Kid Link, they basically made Kid Link way more capable in Majora's Mask than he ever was in Ocarina of Time. Like he's
Yeah.
trash. Kid Link is one of the most useless. Dare I say it? He's one of the most useless. Why are you here? Characters in in Ocarina of Time. Like anyone's like, man, I love Kid Link. I'm like, why? He
Yeah.
sucks. Like Kid Link is trash. Kid Link is hot butter trash in Ocarina of Time. Like he's not a good character is what I'm saying. He's kind of trash. And I know some people would be like, but I like Kid Link. Okay, cool. You like Kid Link, but he's trash, right? Like he's like the weapons you can use. Like the best weapon you can use as Kid Link, aside from magic, is hitting an enemy with a Deku stick. And that's a one-shot weapon.
Yeah.
Like, do you know how shitty of a character you have to be where the best weapon you can use as a kid is a big ass stick? Whereas, adult Link in Ocarina of Time, like you've got Bigoron sword, you've got the Megaton hammer, you've got magic, you've got arrows, you've got different types of fire arrows. Like Kid Link is like, and we've played Legend of Zelda games where you kind of have like your tutorial area where they're holding your hands, but it's still kind of fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, let's say you play Link to the Past, the Light World dungeons, like the 3 dungeons where you get the 3 pendants and Hyrule Castle 2 times plus Aghanim's Tower, or Hyrule Castle and Aghanim's Tower. That's all the castle sewers. All that's like kind of fun, And Link still feels like he's a capable adventurer. Kid Link in Ocarina of Time is just like this is some bullshit. Really, like this is not fun at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's like once you become the adult, or yeah, adult Link, a lot more things open up to you.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I can say, like, even the only real dungeon that you have to complete as a child is the dungeon at the bottom of the well. And even that's kind of like, I'm sitting in there and I'm like, if I was adult Link, this would be so much better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it wouldn't have been as bad if they wouldn't have give Kid Link so many limitations.
And they're artificial limitations. You know,
Yeah.
like if you could wield the Master Sword like a Bigoron sword as Kid Link, I'm like, okay, this makes sense because he's a kid, he can't wield it one handed. They couldn't even give you that. They
Yeah.
couldn't even give you that shit. They were like, nah, you gotta, fuck you, Kid Link. It's like, but playing as Kid Link sucks. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But it's trash. Kid Link sucks. Shut up. You'll play Kid Link and like it, but I don't like Kid Link. He's trash. People gonna get mad when they hear that. People gonna. I like Ocarina of Time. It's the best game ever. Is it though? I don't think it is. Like for me, Ocarina of Time is a 3D version, a lesser version of Link to the Past, but not as well designed because they still hadn't figured out how to make 3D gaming. I think Majora's Mask has better 3D dungeons than Ocarina of Time.
Yeah. It's amazing what Nintendo can do when they're under the gun.
You know. Anyway, enough about that. Enough about that shit. So our first topic is about the false outrage warriors. The false outrage warriors. Now, what I mean by false outrage, I mean people who, essentially speaking, find shit to bitch about without having context or knowledge about what they're bitching about. So a controversy in the RPG sphere right now is that it's been shown that in Dragon Quest III, in the previous games, you could only play as a male character. You were the son of Ortega, the legendary hero. In this game, you can be the son or daughter of Ortega. And they're showing the son or daughter as plus or minus. and some people are like, "Why are you doing this? You're being woke. You're being woke." Which, here's what I'm gonna say: if Square Enix is being woke by showing the gender of characters as plus or minus, they were ahead of the game by 26 years because they've been doing this in their games since 1998 with Dragon Quest Monsters.
Yeah.
So when people are like, "You're woke," I'm like, "You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're just running your mouth because you want to jump on the outrage bandwagon." Now, if you want to be be outraged that for the longest time you can't have really dark-skinned people in these JRPGs. Like, if you try to go for the dark-skinned setting, the person just looks really tan. I'm like, I don't want to play as a white person in a video game. Um, you know, I mean, hell, I remember back in the day. Here's what I used to do back in the day. Like when Dragon Quest 9 came out on the DS, I literally was happy that I could basically create my character, and I made my character into the darkest skinned colored person. He still looked like vaguely Middle Eastern. Not he wasn't like of African descent. But I was like, look, this is the. I was so happy I could make a dark skinned person. I was like, oh God, thank you, Jesus. Because I just personally get tired of playing JRPGs where you just play a white person. That just it's kind of grating because statistically speaking, there are more people of color than there are just white people in the world. Just so why is it you would have video games where the protagonists are always just some rando white guy? I don't understand that. Because it sends the message. Well, if in order to save the world, you have to be some rando white guy. Which kind of bothers me. Like a lot of times, the main character's blonde. You know, like remember when Link had brown hair, and they've been
Yeah.
making him blonder and blonder and blonder over the years, and I'm like, this bothers me a little bit. Um, Princess Zelda used to have red hair. Now she's a blonde too. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Why do we keep on making characters like ultra Caucasian?
Yeah. I don't know. Japan's always been that way, unfortunately. Looking for
Yeah,
like the protagonists of their any, whether it's any anime or any, they're hardly ever even Asian,
that's
which
true.
is
That
kind
is
of
true.
funny.
I mean, I'll give the One Piece guy this much. He made almost all his characters different ethnicities from the start.
Yeah,
So it kind of made
yeah.
sense. Like Luffy's Brazilian. He's like inspired by Brazilian people. Roronoa, okay, he's Japanese. No bullshit. Usopp is apparently like Middle Eastern slash like Moroccan. Um, Nami is fuck, I forgot. But basically, they're all different ethnicities. Frankie's American. Frankie, Frankie's an American. That's sad too.
Well, I think yeah, that's the thing about. I mean, you have these characters that are traveling the world. So it'd just be weird if everybody was just like one
Yeah,
race.
yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense within the universe. I just find it unusual. You know,
Yeah.
but Japan has always had this very kind of weird attitude about race that borders on self-hating almost. Like they'll a Japanese mangaka will make a manga where it's clear everyone there is like Japanese. It's set in Japan, and then they'll be perfectly okay with everyone them making a live action version, everyone just being white people. I'm like, that's weird. That's fucking weird. Because people have been consuming this in the written form. These were clearly Japanese people. Everyone here was Japanese. And you're okay with everyone being turned into a completely different ethnicity.
Yeah,
That's
it's always
weird.
weird. It's always weird to see an anime and like everybody looks Caucasian, but they're all from Japan.
Yeah,
Like they use a lot of Japanese reference, like
Well, you have to remember, Japan is a country where that China shit has bled into their culture, where they basically think the whiter you are, the better you are.
I wonder if getting blown back into the practically nearly getting blown back into the Stone Age during World War II had any sort of influence on their.
No, it was like that before then.
Oh,
Like
it's like that
it's a
before.
legacy. It's a legacy. Well, part of it is part of the when Japan was opened up, all these other ideals came in. But basically, it's always been like that in Asian countries, where if you were a farmer or a field worker, you'd be out in the sun, so you'd get darker tan skin. So it was seen as being like lesser than. However, if you had money, you basically could pay someone to do all that shit for you. So you stayed inside and didn't get sunlight, and you were a pale, pasty, light to white skinned person. I mean, it's the same thing that happened in ethnocentric country and European centric countries, where the blue blood concept comes in, where the lighter skinned you are, the whiter, the paler you were. It means you didn't go outside, you didn't do manual labor, so you were higher class. Um,
Hmm.
so Japan was like that. This is a country that basically almost committed genocide against the ethnic original Japanese that lived in the southern part, what is now Okinawa, of Japan. Like, because the real Japanese, like the Japanese people that are like homogenous in Japan right now, those people are people who fled from China, ethnically
Oh,
speaking.
so
The
oh,
people
so
who were already there are
that's why
like,
they have similar. So that's why they have similar features to Chinese people.
yeah, because ethnically the Japanese came from there. But basically, the thing you have to realize is that the ethnic, like real Japanese people that are still that are from southern, they basically have dark skin. They're dark skinned. Some of them have red hair. Their hair is kinky and knotty, and they have darker skin. I mean, it's still Asiatic, but it's like it's dark, like it's darker. It's legit darker. And they were almost completely like wiped the fuck out by the Jap. They don't like to talk about it because it's fucked up, but you know,
That's
Japan is known
crazy.
for that. Japan likes to bury fucked up history instead of just, confronting it head on. Like you can't bury history. You have to study it so that you don't do the shit again, you know.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, um, you know, nobody likes to take responsibility for the sins of their forefathers.
Well, just tell the truth. I mean, look, listen. Like, okay, it's like Germany with the denazification of Germany, right? I know this is a video game podcast, but we veer off topic sometimes. We had the denazification of Germany was basically like people came in and they kept a lot of those some of those camps. They kept the same conditions they were in. They brought people and said they videotape. You can look. They recorded what was going on. The people coming out of these concentration camps. The Nazis were fucking evil, like human evil. Okay, all right, human evil. And, you know, you can't sit there and say, oh, it didn't happen. No, it happened. It's been, they have documented proof of this shit happening. So the only thing you can say is, if someone's like, yeah, I'm a fascist, I'm a Nazi, Hitler was right. It's like, you're kind of an evil person, and maybe you need to be monitored by law enforcement and a psychiatrist because you're crazy. Um, but anyway, enough about that. But back to the topic at hand. Yeah, the Japanese are weird about race, which is why when I see a Japanese manga or anime that has people of color that don't look like monsters, I'm like, oh my god, you actually drew a black person and he doesn't look ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm amazed. When I see a person of color in an anime and they don't look like, because I shit you not, I went to Japan and I went on their metro, their subway, on their trains. And I shit you not, they had a evacuation picture of different ethnicities. Like everyone else looked normal, but the black guy looked like a fucking gorilla. I was
Yeah.
like, this
Yeah,
shit
that's
right
typically
here.
what. Yeah,
I
they
was,
can't.
yeah, I was like, you know what? You know what? You know what? This is why I take my ass to Okinawa, because they don't have like Okinawa. They got the Marine base at Okinawa. They know how to start that shit around there. But in their little places where they feel safe, they like to do shit like that.
Yeah.
Random Japanese girls, and when did a semester abroad, going wanting to feel your hair. I'm like, bitch, get your hand off my hair. They be
Well, you
fetishizing
know.
black dudes. If you're a black dude and you want to get laid, go to Japan.
Yeah, I mean you're exotic. They don't. They obviously don't see a lot of black people.
Yeah, but it's like fetishizing, not in a. It's like fetishizing in a negative way. Like fetishizing someone is never good, but it's
Yeah,
especially
I
they're
think
like,
that's
oh, you're
gross.
like an animal, a big black. I'm like, hey, get the fuck away from
Oh,
me. Yeah, shit
yeah.
like that. Yeah, it's like, no. Not that I ever dated a Japanese girl, but I had friends who dated Japanese girls, and they like white dudes. They don't like. Here's the thing. It's kind of like here in America with like not my generation, but the generation ahead of me a little bit. You'll find like a white girl who's like she wants to make her parents mad, so she'll date a black guy just to make their parents mad. And if their parents don't get mad,
Yeah.
they're okay with it. Like yeah, well I'm not cool because the whole idea is that they want to what makes it exciting is the taboo nature of it, not because they're actually interested in the person as a person.
Yeah. Yeah. Stay away from those women for sure.
I mean, you hit it. You just don't. You just know what you're there for, and then get out while you can.
Exactly.
It's like Anyway, enough about that. So basically, what I'm saying is Japan's always been weird like that. It's always had weird. Japan's always had a weird thing with like sexuality and um, gender studies and culture and shit like that. Like you'll watch a manga where like Sailor Moon, one of the most popular mangas in Japan at one point. Sailor Moon, the main character is like 13 years old. She's dating a guy who's 30. And they're like, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm like, there's something very wrong with that. That's fucked up, dude. This man's a
Yeah,
pedophile.
that's a little. That, yeah.
Yeah, he's a pedophile. Yeah, he's a pedophile. He's a pedo. Tuxedo Mask. Yeah, Tuxedo Mask is a teacher at the school, Darian, and he's like 30. Yeah, it's and I know like when they localized it, they made her 15 going on to 16, but that's still fucked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
even if you age her up a little bit, it's like no, you know. Um, they have a lot of that shit going on in Japanese mangas where they'll have like a young girl lusting after her male teacher, and it's like this girl's like 13, 14 years old, and she's lusting after a dude who's in his 30s, like early 30s, late 20s. I'm like, this still ain't right. No, no. Now, if a woman is 30 and she's dating a 45-year-old, that's kind of fucked up, but I mean, they both grown. They both have lived some life. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
if you're 30 and a 15, 16-year-old is talking to you, look, you ain't got no goddamn business talking to a 15, 16-year-old, you 30.
Yeah.
It's like, no, no, no. I'm gonna go over here and take a nap. No, thank you. No, you need to turn your ass around and walk out my door. That's what you need to do, because you don't belong. As a matter of fact, I shouldn't even be in this room by myself with you. Get out of here. But anyway, so yeah, basically people were talking about how back to the original topic. False outrage warriors were talking about Dragon Quest III. Square Enix has gone woke. They're adding plus and minus instead of male and female genders. It's like this has been a thing for over 25 years in the Dragon Quest series, especially monsters where you could breed your monsters because basically you would have plus monsters, minus monsters, plus minus monsters that were gender neutral, so they could basically kind of like a Ditto in like a Ditto can breed with anything in Pokemon.
Yeah.
They had monsters like that in Dragon Quest monsters. Like you could breed that monster with anything and you would get an egg. And then you had genderless monsters that you couldn't breed. So you couldn't breed a super team of high level monsters for the end game of a Dragon Quest game. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People
So
are
they're just because. So they're just being consistent with their world building.
I mean, they're adding it to the world building.
Yeah.
And considering that Dragon Quest III, chronologically speaking, is the first game in a trilogy, like the original Dragon Quest trilogy, Dragon Quest Dragon Warrior, Dragon Warrior 2, Dragon Warrior 3. All three of those games, chronologically, the first game was Dragon Quest 3. So they're adding shit that's been part of the series for 20 something years into the first game, chronologically speaking. It makes sense.
Yeah.
And just people are just like, oh, like these fake ass. What I mean, I hate to say this, the true Scotsman fallacy. These fake ass Dragon Quest fans. Oh, blah 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 blah. This is not cool. I'm like, shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. It's like people saying, man, Killer Instinct has autocomplete combos. It's always had autocomplete combos. It's always that's always been an issue. That's how you play Killer Instinct. Like basically, like you would hit an enemy, then press a button, and then you would start a combo, and then you would basically press buttons or do button combinations in order to go through the combo and continue through the combo. And basically, if you hit the opposite button of that, like if that combo is a fierce punch, and you do a fierce kick, you would break that combo.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. But auto-completing combos have been part of Killer Instinct since the beginning. Like, it's always been part of Killer Instinct. It's Street Fighter where you have to manually input every fucking combo.
Yeah.
In Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I hate how Mortal Kombat controls the game.
Dial a combo. What, you don't like dial a combo? Just memorize the same 4 or 5 combos and decimate everybody with it. Yeah, I'm not a big. I know a lot of people like Mortal Kombat. I just don't fucking like that franchise. I never liked Mortal Kombat. Even back in the day, I always thought Street Fighter was the better fighting series until Guilty Gear came out. Guilty Gear kicks Street Fighter's ass in terms of 2D fighting. Like it's like Guilty Gear feels like the successor to Street Fighter in terms of like, because Guilty Gear is so easy to get into, and yet it's got a lot of mastery to it as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough about that. Next topic. Do you have anything you want to add before we move on to the next topic, sir?
No, I'm good.
All right. Gaming is an expensive hobby. Yeah, gaming's an expensive hobby, and people keep on talking shit about, oh man, this game's too expensive, blah 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 blah. Gaming's always been expensive.
Yeah, I mean that's true. The problem is, it's like back in the day, you know, there are some games that did cost $70, even $80.
Yeah,
But you had everything on the cart. You didn't pay $70 and then
that's true.
$30 for an expansion pack, and then another $30 for another expansion pack, and $150 for all the extra costumes and characters. And
That's
it's
true.
kind of like this is where things start getting out of control.
I agree with you on that regard, but you also have to remember this. Here's what you have to keep in mind, if you will. What you have to keep in mind is that functionally speaking, like games are more expensive to develop now than they were back in the day. Like back in the day, you could have a team of like 20 people make a Super Mario World.
Yeah.
Now you need at least 60, 70, 80 people to make a Mario game.
Yeah.
All right. You used to be able to use a group of like you used to be able to use a team like the team that made Fallout 1 and 2. Even Fallout 3, Fallout 4, like maybe 40, 50, 60 people. Now you need hundreds of people to make games. Some of the bigger games. It's like, and those people have to be paid, because I don't know about you, I don't work for free. Do you?
Exactly. Yeah.
So, you know, people got to be paid. People need health insurance. They need employment insurance. They need retirement paid into, pension paid into. They got to pay off houses. They got car notes. They got house notes. They got lights, gas, electricity, utility. I mean, it's car. I mean, you know, it's.
Not only do employees need to be paid, you also gotta, you know, obviously you gotta maintain the facilities too. So
Yeah.
that they're working in. So that's another thing you have to consider. Like, there's a lot of things that people don't think about when it comes to this when it comes to the process of game development.
Yeah.
But
So, like, people are like, "Oh, this is expensive." I'm like, "Look, listen, it is expensive." And the problem with gaming right now is that the middle market has collapsed in on itself. You don't really have a middle market anymore. And I know people are gonna say, well, indies, yes, indies have kind of expanded in that space, but indies used to be the low budget shit because they didn't have the
Mm.
resources to make full huge games. You know, like
Yeah.
that was your small the mid market were your double A, single A, B grade games that would cost you between 19.99 and like $40, and that was okay. There was nothing wrong with
Yeah.
that. You would go, you spend like $30. Oh, this is a nice game. I enjoyed it. Blah 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 blah. That market is gone now. You don't really get that games that fall into that sweet spot. You find a lot of games are either really really cheap or really really expensive, and you don't have anything in between that caters to different people's budgets. Now, Steam is one of the few things where it's like, oh well, I can actually find games that are within my price range. But a lot of that is with sales. You know,
Yeah.
you better hope they got a sale.
Yeah. Exactly.
Now, the good thing is that there's always some type of sale going on Steam. Like there's always something on sale. If anyone tells you they have nothing to play, have you asked them, "Hey man, do you have do you have Steam?" Because if you have Steam, I guarantee you can probably find something to play.
Yeah.
Steam always has some shit going on. You know, this. But enough about that. What do you think? Agree, disagree, don't care?
No, I agree. I agree.
All right. Could you maybe float some solutions to the thing? Because I don't know, man. I'm
Well,
someone's got
like
to
I
come up
said,
with something. Damn it.
you know, maybe it's time to either scale things back, focus more on art direction rather than throwing everything at these machines. Uh, Maybe work on or instead of putting all your eggs in one basket, maybe make some smaller indie type projects that can build up to your big game release. Um, something that really really fleshes out the world, uh, really fleshes out that universe, um, something of that nature. Uh, you know, and obviously with stuff like Baldur's Gate 3 proves that you can, create a massive game
A
and
premium
not
style game.
a premium style game and not piecemeal it up and still make a lot of your money back. That was a licensed property, so that made the game even more expensive. So,
Yeah,
expensive to make.
but it also helps that it like that was a really good game though. Like
Yeah,
Baldur's Gate 3 is astonishingly good. And I don't know why people were surprised it was good because this is a studio that's been making good games for years.
yeah,
Like Larian's been making good RPGs, Western style RPGs for years. Like that's like saying, "Hey man, you're a pizza chef. Yeah, you've been making pizzas for 30 years." Yes. Why would they not make a good pizza? It's like, you know, it would be more surprised. I would be more surprised if the shit came out bad. You know what I mean?
yeah. Um, so what, like, essentially make a game people want to play. Um,
That's a
also,
that's a simple statement, sir. Just make a game that you're like that developer. Hey, we just won't make you any bad games. I'm like, oh shit! Oh really? That easy, huh? God damn! Wow, man. Hey, man, someone make this person the CEO.
So that's the thing. They're not making games people want to play. They're just, creating these. And I know they got investors. They gotta jerk off. They gotta pay.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, look,
it's just
I understand that they have to pay their investors because, man, look, I don't know, let me put it this way. If you ever buy some stocks or invest in a money market account or something like shit, you don't put money in that shit so that you break even. You want it to grow. You want your money to make money. you know, I understand that sentiment, but also from a gamer's point of view, I'm like, some of these games, like, remember the big thing a while ago was before, like, now it's crypto, not crypto, it's AI. The big word is AI. AI and all that shit. But before that was blockchain. Remember that blockchain and crypto?
yep.
Like it's like, look, could y'all just make a good game? Like, hear me out. Make a good game. Okay, make a good game.
Yeah.
Make a good game, and then let's see what happens.
The people, if you make a good game, it'll sell. And you don't. And one of the most annoying things, um, I know what's been happening. It's when they announce their DLC before the game even releases.
I mean, I'm of two minds about that. That's where I have ambivalence. I think sometimes, god damn, dude.
Well, what happened?
I was looking in Steam. I saw the GTA Definitive Edition San Andreas is $60 on Steam.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's some bullshit right there. Ain't nobody buying that. Now, I
Nope.
already have the Definitive Edition because I have the original edition back in the day that I downloaded a mod for that restores all the content that was on the PS2 back in the day. All the shit that they basically got rid of. I have all that shit. So, and plus, to shine it up, make it look better, add a whole bunch of new content and all that type of shit. But god damn, I'm like, they're still charging $60 for that piece of shit. This is why Rockstar is bullshit.
That's why I don't trust GTA 6.
They're like, why don't you trust us? Cause you're full of shit, bro.
Yeah.
You're full of shit. But what were you saying?
Yeah, that's why I don't trust GTA 6 and what that's going to become.
Yeah, I don't trust it either. Because we already saw where basically, like, they were like, well, we don't need to. They've already seen that we don't need to make excellent single player content because these dumbasses they'll spend $60, will spend 20, 30, 40 real money for fake money that they can spend in our fake ass world. Uh,
Yeah.
these dumbasses. And yes, if you're one of those people that went on GTA Online and you spent real money for fake money, fuck it,
Well,
you're a dumbass.
they can live their gangster fantasy.
You can live your gangster fantasy in the basic game.
Exactly. God, think that people spent tens of thousands of dollars in that game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. People spend a lot of money in that game, and I'm like, God damn, like for real, you just gonna do that shit? Yeah, yeah. And that's why. Look, listen. If you're a I mean, I still say, if you're a dumbass who actually, and yes, I'm calling you a dumbass. If you spent real money on fake money that you can spend in game. And I don't mean like microtransactions where it's like, $1.99 here, 99 cents here, $5 here, $10 there. I mean real money like 20, 40, 50, 100, $200 at a pop every month, every week, every 2 weeks, whatever you get paid. You're a dumbass. And you're the reason why gaming is the way it is today. You and nobody but you. Okay? People wonder why gaming is the way it is. This is why gaming is the way it is. Because people who game, I'm not calling you gamers because you don't think about what you're doing. People who play video games want convenience and they don't want to put the work in the grind to get shit. They just want to spend money and get the shit easy. And then when they get the shit easy, this is why. You know?
Yeah.
This is why games are all fucked up. This is why you have all those this is why you have microtransactions in you have shit like that in single player games.
Yeah. Yeah, which is pretty crazy that they do that.
That they would have, yeah, it is, but what are you gonna do, I mean, what can I do? Beat somebody's ass because of it?
Be kind of nice, but no, you can't do that, unfortunately.
It's like, this is what you get, bitch. It's like, I'm like I said, I'm not against DLC in video games. I'm not. Okay, I'm not against that. That doesn't. I like that actually. What bothers me is that this shit is. We're constantly getting this shit. It's
Yeah.
unending. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's unending bullshit. There's no. It doesn't seem like we're ever going to reach the point where this is as high as it's going to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's my own personal opinion. How do you feel? You agree, disagree, don't care?
No, I agree.
All right. So with that being said, I guess it's time to move on to the next topic. The next topic. Gamers, we kind of touched upon this in the last topic. Gamers are part of the problem of why we're getting screwed out of better games. I said it like that, and allow me to explain. When gamers basically don't demand better, when they buy bullshit, like shit that's, as soon as they announce it, like everyone knew that as soon as Rocksteady announced, oh, we're making a live action Kill the Justice League, and it's going to be a Battle Royale style single player game, and it's going to have I'm like, this is going to be some bullshit.
Yeah.
Now, luckily, it it flopped.
Yeah.
But we have the opposite end of that spectrum. GTA 5 Online.
Flop harder than a fat man doing a belly flop.
Yeah. I mean, the reason we got GTA 5, the reason we didn't get any single player content for GTA 5 and all of their effort went into supplying content for the online. All of it.
Yeah.
So all of the single player, like you got two really good expansions for GTA 4. Um, you know how much expanded content we got for the single player for GTA 5? Not a goddamn thing. Now, if you have the game on PC, you can go and download a
Download mods.
Yeah, you can download mods that add the online content into the single player, which
Yeah.
makes the single player into a much more fun game. That I don't want to play with other people.
Yeah.
Like, never was I playing GTA San Andreas or Vice City and going around causing mayhem saying, this would be more fun if I had other people here. No! It's my sandbox. Leave me alone while I play in it.
Yeah.
But you know.
Yeah. Also, the part of the problem is, I feel like people who make a lot of complaints about stuff or screaming into the void. They're just, not screaming into the void, but just preaching to the choir. Because, it's like most of the people aren't watching YouTube videos or looking on forums or
They
reading
need to talk with their
articles.
money.
Yeah, they need to talk with their money. Yeah,
Don't buy the
people.
shit.
Yeah.
Very, very easy. It's like, hey, these people are fucking up. Don't buy the shit. I guarantee if you don't buy the shit enough times, they will figure out, people aren't buying this shit. Maybe we shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But don't buy the shit and then complain afterwards. that's that's the thing to get someone there like, man, this is bullshit. This game is trash. But you knew it was gonna be trash and you bought the shit anyway. So who's the dumbass here? You or them? Cause they
Yeah.
got your money,
Exactly.
so they got your money now. So you know, I don't know. They got your money. So what's going on now? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly.
Like it's like, man, that movie was terrible, but you saw it, right? Yeah, you watched it to the end. Yeah, that means they got their money. What the fuck are you gonna do? Like, anyway, enough about that. Any other thoughts before we move on to the last two topics?
No.
No, I'll cap out this topic with this, with just saying this. Gamers, as long as you accept bullshit, it's like being in a bad relationship. Yeah, at a certain point, you're being victimized, but if you accept the victimization and don't do something about it, you share some fault as well. Okay? Especially if you're an adult. Now, if it's a child being victimized, children don't have the same autonomy as an adult does. But no one's forcing you to buy these broken ass games.
Yeah.
Your friends aren't coming to your house to say, hey, play this shit or we have a problem. Training day style. I don't want to play Battlefield umpteenth. It's broken and has shitty microtransactions. Hey, play this shit or we have a problem. It's like none of that's going on. So you just made the choice to buy broken shit. And like, never have any of these multiplayer games come out and not been a broken piece of shit at launch. You're basically
Yeah.
paying to be a video game tester,
Yeah.
a beta tester. Anyway, enough about that. Let's move on to the final two topics. Free topic. Anything you want to bring up for free topic, sir?
Um. Apparently, Nintendo still isn't Apparently, that's the problem across the industry. It's just not crediting people for their work and the credits for some reason.
You know,
So, I guess they got caught doing that. And oh yeah, another topic. Um, freaking Analog Pockets at it again with their freaking limited edition handhelds. Um, so you people just need to stop.
I mean, they do make very good.
They make good handhelds. They make good products.
The
I just
product
don't
is
think
really
they're.
good.
Yeah. I don't think I just don't think how they handle their business is very good. I just think it's like, because when they first came out, the Analog Pocket, it's like, yeah, we can only make so many of these for, because at the time it was during the pandemic. And then every few months they come out with these limited edition ones. It's like, why didn't you just focus on making plenty so people could have? So yeah, it is what it is, I guess.
I mean,
So yeah, they came out with like their aluminum CNC analog pockets.
limited edition.
So yeah,
I mean, but they all do that.
yeah, yeah. And it's a pretty niche market anyway.
I mean, no, like every company, Analog is doing it because they're making a very specific product that appeals to a specific demographic. But Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, they all make special edition shit that's limited. And scalpers are going to get to it because scalpers are pieces of shit. You know, that's just the way it is, man. I mean, it's not. Look, listen. People have been doing this for years. Like back in the day, when I was a kid, McDonald's used to sell these limited edition glass sets for movies that would come out.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Like they did it for Jurassic Park. It's like a set of 6, right? And there would always be one or two that were really, really in really low numbers. So people would go and try and get the glasses to have a complete set. Human beings like
Yeah.
collecting well, I shouldn't say humans. Some people like collecting shit. Okay? They really like collecting shit. That's their thing. Now me personally, I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
that's what
lie
I
to you.
collect.
Well, I'm not gonna lie to you, okay? You're talking to someone who collects vinyl, has a pretty large, has a pretty goddamn large retro gaming collection, a decently sized comic book collection, a decently sized book collection. Um, so, like, I'm not the person to be throwing stones at people about collecting shit, but
Yeah.
everything I collect is expensive because, like, a lot of the vinyl I collect, they don't really do reprints of the vinyl for some of it. So for me, it's finding records that are in relatively good enough shape in order to be listened to, or I'll digitize it and turn it to a FLAC and save it digitally. All right. Yes, I do shit like that, y'all. I have books that, yeah, they've reprinted them, but a certain printing might be better because it might have a foreword from the author or a foreword from another author or it's been signed, shit like that. Games, listen. My first SNES collection was sold and I had to rebuy all that shit later on when the prices started to go up, but it still's not as bad as it was then. So, listen. I I like my game collection, all right?
Yeah.
But despite all of this,
Yep.
I'm here to tell you, as he with sin, I'm still gonna throw a stone. Y'all got to stop with this damn. Oh yeah, I got to get this limited edition. I mean, because here's the thing: it's a limited edition, but it's not any better than the shit you can get that's not limited edition. It just has a little squiggly line. Oh, this is the Mario themed Switch. I gotta get it. No, you don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you got people that have like 15 switches because they had to get the various theme switch.
Shit.
I gotta get the fancy Zelda switch.
Who cares? Look, does the shit run? Is it chugging to do 720p 60 frames per second? It doesn't matter what the shell looks like. What's on the one inside that counts? And the inside of the Switch is still shit.
Yeah. Yeah, but they're like, well, in 20, 30 years I could sell for $250,000 because it was so
No.
rare. It's like,
No.
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 No,
No.
just no.
As someone who has, I have 5 Game Boys. 5. 5 Game Boys. Alright? I have an OG gray Game Boy. I recently bought another one for like $50. New in stock, never been opened. Still has Tetris inside of it.
Wow, $50. They must have. Wow, only $50.
No,
that's crazy.
Because the original Game Boy isn't that desired a collector's item.
Oh, the original Game Boy. Okay.
Yeah, the original Game Boy is not a desired collector's item.
Yeah.
2 Game Boy Colors, Game Boy Advance. It's 5 Game Boys.
Yeah.
You know how much that shit's worth? Maybe combined like $500.
Yeah.
And that's probably if I really, really like gen somebody up and bullshit it my way through. Probably less than that, like 400. Maybe even 350. All right. So people need to quit with this bullshit.
Yeah. The whole retro gaming collectors is an absolute racket.
Well, I won't say it's a racket, but I will say that I won't say it's a racket, but I will say that or at least it wasn't until they did that graded games game auction shit. That was the bottom fell out of the market then, because like basically like what happened then is you had people gaming because the guy who started it is the same guy who fucking got in trouble for he fucking crashed the market for uh, playing cards, like those trading cards shit. So I mean, this guy has a record of going into markets and basically destroying it to basically make a lot of money.
Yeah, and yeah, a lot of those people are broken now because those games dropped like a rock.
Yeah.
So it was just this disgusting scheme to get for people at the top to get rich.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a pyramid scheme. The people at the top who put the money in drew it out as soon as they saw that people were they were making money, and then everyone else just kind of sort of had to take that bath.
Yeah.
That's why whenever I see people, hey, you got to get in here, you got to get in. No, I don't. Okay, the only thing that I'll put money into, because I know if I wait a long enough time, I'll make my money back, is stocks. People, how the stocks went down. I guarantee you, no matter how much people say the stocks went down, like, I lost money. I guarantee you the stocks are higher now than they were 30 years ago. So if you put money in 30 years ago and you left it the fuck alone till now, you made bank.
Yeah.
Okay? I cannot say the same thing with other things. Real estate, for example. Well, no, some real estate is still growing, but not at the rate of stocks. So anyway, that's my own personal opinion. No other free topics you want to cover before we move on to hot takes?
No.
All right. Here's my free topic. Here we go. I am gonna say something that's gonna make some people angry, or maybe not. Maybe it's just my personal opinion. So I recently saw a poll where they were like, "Who's the best Joker?" They had Jack Nicholson, Jared Leto, Heath Ledger, and Joaquin Phoenix. And I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm like, "You guys don't have the best Joker, which is Mark Hamill."
Yeah. That's weird.
Yeah, the best Joker is Mark Hamill.
Yeah. Oh yeah, by far.
Has been, will be, will always be Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
And you know why? Because Mark Hamill's the animated Joker. Like, the best Batman will always be Kevin Conroy.
Yeah. Exactly.
He's dead. He's still the best Batman. Followed by you know what? I'll say Adam West. I'll give it up to Adam West because Adam West's Batman made Batman popular for a lot of people. So I'll give credit where credit is due. But yeah, people need to understand that shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my hot take. Do you have a hot take you'd like to share before we wrap things up?
No, not this week.
All right. This is Mr. Red Fox, I'm proprietor of BS Busters. Enjoy your week. We have another 2 weeks until the end of July. Yeah, 2 weeks, and yeah, enjoy your games, play your games, rest, relax, stay out of this damn heat. We're going through a damn heat wave. And not like that song by Martha Reeves and the Vandellas. It's not a good heat wave. This is like a if you don't have shade and fluid, you could die. This is a killing people heat wave. So that being said, that's the end of the podcast. Rate, comment, share, subscribe, and play your games. Anything you want to pimp out, Kenoshi?
I might have a podcast next week. We'll see.
All right.
And yeah. I'll see you next week.
Remember, we have a podcast on this channel every Wednesday, 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sometimes we start early, but generally speaking, they've jived out to be about an hour long. So remember, rate, comment, share, subscribe. If you want to get in touch with the channel, you can reach me at mrredfoxbsbuster@gmail.com or the Discord, which the link is in the description. Peace and have a good night.